at number 10, Rihanna and Katy Perry. Rihanna and Katy Perry used to be the best of friends and were constantly seen out together. But that all changed when men got involved. Apparently, the long friendship ended after Rihanna decided to get back with Chris Brown, who had left her with bruises on her face. I'm sure you all know the story. And of course, an incident like that would worry any good friend. After Rihanna decided to get back with him, Perry told Marie Claire, quote, "I didn't reach out to her after the incident." But Katy is not the only one that threw some shade. After Katy got flack for dating John Mayer after her divorce, Rihanna commented on that relationship, telling the Observer, quote, "Katy Perry can date anyone she wants. I could never give relationship advice to anybody." Clearly, the subtext of that is her dating Chris Brown. But that's not all. It seems that Katy might have tried to mend things when she said Rihanna is one of her dream American Idol judges. But Rihanna savagely responded to that, saying, quote, "I don't know, depends how bored I am." And yikes, if that isn't shady, I do not know what is. And at number 9, Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton. These two were huge stars back in the day, starring together in the hit reality show The Simple Life, because they had been best friends since childhood. But their relationship eventually fizzled out. Richie claims they just grew apart, but Hilton blamed the tension on Richie, claiming that the relationship fell apart because Nicole did something bad. Paris said, quote, "Nicole knows what she did, and that's all I'm ever gonna say about it." The two ended up reconciling enough to film the last season of The Simple Life, but after that they didn't talk again for years. In 2014, Richie revealed that she hadn't talked to Paris in years, but apparently they reconciled in 2018 and have been friendly since. And at number 8, Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez. These two were friends ever since they started acting as children on Barney and Friends. They became even closer when they both turned into Disney Channel stars as teenagers. But over the years, the relationship between the two of them seems to be getting worse. The jealousy started when Selena started hanging out with other celebrities like Taylor Swift. This then led to the friends unfollowing and refollowing each other countless times over the years on social media. Once after Demi unfollowed Selena, she tweeted out, quote, "Swimming away from the BS. Bye, bitch." It seems that over the years, Selena has tried to support Demi and become cordial with her, but Demi never reciprocates. A few years ago, a Finsta belonging to Demi was found that bashed Selena on multiple occasions. But apparently that turned out to be fake. We don't really know exactly what happened between these two, but they are definitely not friends at this moment. And at number 7, Heidi Montag and Lauren Conrad. Heidi and Lauren were stars on the MTV reality show The Hills, but their friendship ended very publicly after Perez Hilton broke a nasty story. Apparently, Heidi Montag and boyfriend Spencer Pratt spread a rumor that Lauren Conrad had made an intimate tape with her boyfriend Jason Whaler. After hearing the rumor spread, Conrad responded saying, quote, "We did not make a tape. Jason and I are both shocked and hurt that people would say such horrible things about us. I can't believe that somebody would go to such great lengths to try and damage my reputation." After all that, Lauren didn't want to see Heidi or Spencer, but they were contractually obligated to film the 3rd season of the show. This caused the now infamous confrontation that was caught on camera. In March of 2016, Montag tried to reconnect, but it didn't work out. And she said, quote, "We're not friends. It's kind of awkward." And at number 6, Drake Bell and Josh Peck. These two were best friends on and off screen when they acted alongside each other on The Amanda Show, which led to them getting their own hit show, Drake and Josh. The duo seemed to remain friends after their childhood stardom, but things went sour when Josh Peck got married. After Josh posted a picture of his wedding in 2017, Bell called him out for not inviting him. Bell tweeted, quote, "True colors have come out today. Message is loud and clear. Ties are officially cut. I'll miss you, brother." And in case you weren't sure if he was tweeting about the wedding, he also tweeted out that when you aren't invited to the wedding, the message is clear. After the story went viral, Josh responded that he was deeply hurt by Bell's tweets, but he also clarified that the two hadn't been friends for years. Halfway at number 5, Gwyneth Paltrow and Winona Ryder. These two were the best of friends in the 90s. They even lived together for many years and went on tons of double dates while the two of them were dating BFFs, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. But it all ended when a movie role came between the two of them. When Ryder was auditioning for Shakespeare in Love, Paltrow took the script that was at their house and auditioned for the part as well. Paltrow ended up getting the part and even ended up winning Best Actress at the Oscars for the role. But it seems that their feud isn't even close to over. Many years later, when Ryder was caught shoplifting, Paltrow posted a shady statement to her blog, writing, quote, "Back in the day, I had a friend of me who was pretty hell-bent on taking me down. I restrained myself from fighting back. I tried to take the high road, but one day I heard that something unfortunate and humiliating dating had happened to this person, and my reaction was deep relief and happiness. And that's just crazy to me, because if the story played out like I just reported, then I'm not sure why Gwyneth Paltrow would be the one that was mad, considering she stole the role from Winona, but I mean, maybe more happened than we know. In at number 4, Kim Cattrall and Sarah Jessica Parker. Sex and the City is one of the greatest shows ever, in my opinion. And one of the reasons why it's so great was because of the bond between the women. They seemed like such good friends on screen, and we all assumed that they were besties in real life too, which a lot of the ladies claimed was the case in interviews while they were filming. But many years after the series ended and Kim Cattrall refused to do a third movie, the real story seemed to come out. After the tragic death of Cattrall's brother, Parker wrote a short message of condolence to her former co-star, but Cattrall responded with anger, writing, quote, "Your continuous reaching out is a painful reminder of how cruel you really were then and now. Let me make this very clear. You are not my friend. So I'm writing to tell you one last time to stop exploiting our tragedy in order to restore your nice girl persona." Since then, Cattrall has been open that she was never friends with her castmates. In at number 3, Jay-Z and Kanye West. These two rappers are some of the most successful ever, which helped them form a close bond. But their falling out was so nasty it made headlines pretty much everywhere. It all started when Kanye was performing at a concert and he went off on a rant against Jay-Z, where he was calling him out for abandoning his family after Kim's Paris robbery. At one point, Kanye said, quote, "Don't call me after the robbery and say how you feeling. You want to know how I'm feeling? Come by the house. Bring the kids by the house like we're brothers. Let's sit down." Jay-Z responded to the rant on his album 444, where he rapped that Kanye needed to stop his F everybody attitude and look in the mirror, because the problem isn't other people but Kanye himself. In at number 2, Seth Rogen and James Franco. Seth Rogen and James Franco have collaborated on countless movies together, and they've been friends and collaborators since the beginning of their careers. However, Seth Rogen recently stated that he's no longer planning to collaborate with James Franco after multiple accusations of misconduct against women on the set of his movies. These allegations started in 2018 when multiple women came forward. Rogen continued working with him after that, but he said he's now changed his mind. When Rogen was asked about his friendship with Franco, he didn't really give a straight answer, but said, quote, "I don't know if I can define that right now." During this interview, "I can say that, it's changed many things in our relationship and our dynamic." And wow, thankfully he did the right thing there, but I'm sure that must have been really hard. And finally, at number 1, Kylie Jenner and Jordyn Woods. I'm sure you all know how this one went down. Kylie and Jordyn were besties since childhood, and they grew up doing practically everything together. They even lived together as adults. And Jordyn starred in Kylie's reality series, Life of Kylie. Their relationship even gave Jordyn employment opportunities with the family, including modeling opportunities with Khloe's clothing line. But that all changed after Jordyn hooked up with Tristan Thompson, Khloe's baby daddy and boyfriend at the time. The whole thing was an absolute mess, and as a result, Jordyn was cut from the family, including her friendship with Kylie ending. Jordyn ended up going on Red Table Talk and claiming that the interaction she had with Tristan was small, but Khloe called her out on Twitter as a liar and claimed that it was much more. As of now, the relationship is still very tense.
Well folks, it turns out that there is a new bestie in town, and TikTok star Addison Rae is not happy about it. After the MTV VMAs, it became clear that Kourtney Kardashian and Megan Fox have become best friends. The amount of attention that these two get along with their rock star boyfriends has been absolutely insane, and so I don't think she needs that TikTok clout anymore. There's a reason why Kourtney Kardashian has been hanging out with Addison Rae as of late, and it has nothing to do with the massive age gap between them. Addison had done an interview and made some comments about Kourtney's relationship with Scott Disick that she apparently did not care for. Despite making an appearance alongside Addison in the Netflix movie He's All That, she has created some space since then. A source close to Kourtney opened up to The Sun about what happened, and they told them they got close for a while, but Kourtney is upset with Addison for a couple of reasons. Addison commented on Kourtney and Scott's relationship and other family drama on Watch What Happens Live when she should have just deflected the questions, adding, "The fact of the matter is Addison is closer to Kourtney's kids' ages than she is to Kourtney's age." While on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, Andy did not hesitate on grilling Addison about Scott Disick and Amelia Hamlin's breaking up. She was boldly asked if she thought Scott and Kourtney were destined to be together, and she decided to reply with a blunt no, instead of just, saying that she couldn't speak on that matter. She also spoke openly about how the pair first started hanging out. She said, and I quote, "I met Kourtney through a friend through David. We had surprised Mason because Mason liked my videos on TikTok. Then I kind of just stuck around and we got really close." This source that was speaking with the press about Kourtney had no qualms about detailing how much Kourtney and Megan Fox love hanging out. They said that they have known each other for some time now and have a lot in common, adding that because their boyfriends are so close, they appear more powerful together than apart. Recently, the pair even did a raunchy photo shoot for Skims with Megan Fox writing in one caption, "Court forever isn't long enough. Welcome to our Skims cotton shoot, an immersive experience." And as I mentioned in the intro, these two have become much closer after all that free press they just received just from showing up really to the MTV VMAs. VMAs, mainly because they introduced their respective partners as their future baby daddies, which shocked a lot of people. It also led to a lot of people on Twitter commenting on how fast Kourtney dropped Addison as a friend. One user writes, "Kourtney dropped Addison as a friend as soon as she started getting more attention hanging out with Megan Fox. I love it." With another offering up their condolences to Addison saying, "Deepest condolences to Addison Rae for being replaced in Kourtney's life by Megan Fox. However, between her first movie role and attending the Met Gala, I really doubt that Addison has had any time to weigh in on this situation. But if she wants to get back into the Kardashian family good graces, she'll probably have to keep a tight lip on family secrets next time."
Alright, starting off our list at number 10, we have Vin Diesel and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It is easy to think that actors Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson are best friends. They are both talented actors and have amazing bodies. They're both bald. They're both bald with like stacked bodies. Their dispute began when they both starred on The Fast and the Furious. Things got so bad between them that they refused to share the same set during the filming of the movie. Apparently in 2016, Johnson decided to share with fans on Instagram his opinion about his co-stars. He claimed to enjoy working with all his female co-stars, referring to them as always amazing. But for his male co-stars, he had something else to say. He revealed that some of them do not comport themselves as valid men and true professionals. Later on in an interview with Rolling Stone, he disclosed that his comment was all about Vin Diesel, which is like so surprising. I thought The Rock was like friends with everybody, you know, he's like this big like happy teddy bear. It's like surprising to know that he could ever have a feud with anybody. At number 9, we have Channing Tatum and Emma Watson. Reportedly, actress Emma Watson was extremely offended by Channing Tatum's raunchy behavior on set. In the 2013 movie This Is the End, the actress walked off set when she saw Tatum in an almost nude outfit break dancing. An unbothered Channing Tatum kept on dancing and having a blast with his other co-stars as he made jokes at Watson's reaction. According to the social media testimony of an extra known only as Courtney, Emma Watson was so distraught by the sight of a thong-clad Channing Tatum that she walked off set, which honestly doesn't necessarily come as a shock to me. I mean, this is Emma Watson we're talking about, pretty much the epitome of a good girl. I'm pretty sure Emma Watson shits rainbows and unicorns. Next up at number 8, we have Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande. For fans of the Nickelodeon series Victorious, it might come as a surprise to discover that Tori and Kat weren't actually best friends in real life. You might be surprised to find out that the two have allegedly been feuding for the past decade. Following the show's cancellation after 4 seasons, a social media feud between the two stars began with Grande tweeting, quote, "Sweetheart, the only reason why Victorious ended is because one girl didn't want to do it. She chose to do a solo tour instead of a cast tour. If we had done a cast tour, Nickelodeon would have ordered another season of Victorious, while Sam and Kat filmed simultaneously, but she chose otherwise. I'm sick of this BS." End quote. Justice tweeted back saying, "Some people would throw someone they consider a friend under the bus just to make themselves look good. Hashtag stop being a phony. Hashtag if only they knew." Ooh. Saucy. Despite Ariana Grande reaching out to Victoria Justice with an apology for any confusion surrounding a previous 17 magazine interview, it appears as if Victoria Justice wanted nothing to do with her. Victoria revealed to Entertainment Tonight that she does not think she and Ariana Grande will ever work together again. Despite their long-lasting differences, the two appear to have put it all aside for a 2020 Victorious reunion on Zoom. Coming in hot at number 7 on this list, we have Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy. While shooting the 2012 film Lawless, Shia LaBeouf and Tom Hardy reportedly threw hands while the cameras weren't rolling. The filmmaker also confirmed during a Reddit AMA several years ago that, quote, "There was definitely a fight between them. It escalated to the point where they both had to be restrained." Tom Hardy confirmed the confrontation, saying that LaBeouf, in a moonshine-induced rage, knocked him out cold, which is something LaBeouf all but confirmed in a March 2018 Esquire profile. Meanwhile, Shia later cited the incident as nothing but part of their character's brotherly love. Okay, Shia, with your track record, that sounds pretty believable. Also, it's moonshine. I can't be held responsible for what I do when I drink moonshine. At number 6, we're bringing you Lena Headey and Jerome Flynn. Over the years, HBO's Game of Thrones has garnered lots of devoted fans. It was one of my favorite shows of all time, even with the terrible ending. Nonetheless, it wouldn't be such a surprise if many viewers haven't noticed that Jerome Flynn and Lena Headey's characters, Cersei the Mad Queen and Bronn, have never actually been in the same room on the show. We got to know that both Headey and Flynn were once in a private romantic relationship that didn't end well. This created so much tension on set that the producers made sure they were never placed on the same set. At the end of season 7, where many characters gathered at the Dragon Pit Summit, Bronn skipped the event and instead went ahead to grab a drink. Of course he did! Of course he did! His act might be in the role, but it doesn't mean there was no personal reason behind it. we are halfway there. At number 5, we have Leah Michele and Naya Rivera. Like, of course they're on this list, of course. Iconic feud. What happens when you have a bunch of 20 and 30-year-olds playing high school teenagers? They start acting like teenagers. Actually, I'm pretty sure Leah Michele is the common denominator in all these problems, but anyways, we know that now. That sure was the case with Leah Michele and Naya Rivera on the set of Glee. Clearly the two didn't get along, but apparently the drama resulted in a major altercation on set, in addition to rumors about Leah Michele and Chris Colfer plotting to get Naya Rivera and Darren Criss kicked off the show. Rivera stated that one of the Glee writers once said that Leah and her were like two sides of the same battery, and that about sums us up. She added, "We are both strong-willed and competitive, not just with each other but with everyone, and that's not a good mixture." In the end, unfortunately, Leah Michele got exactly what she wanted and Rivera was written out of the show. At number 4, we have Freddie Prinze Jr. and Kiefer Sutherland. Freddie Prinze Jr. has been very vocal about his negative experience working alongside Kiefer Sutherland on the show 24. Jr. said, I quote, "I did 24, it was terrible. I hated every moment of it. Kiefer was the most unprofessional dude in the world. That's not me talking trash, I'd say it to his face. I think that everyone that works with him has said that. I just wanted to quit the business after that, so I just sort of stopped." Funny thing is, they hadn't actually worked together for about 5 years, so like why start trash talking after? Kiefer Sutherland's representative gave a classy response, which said, "Kiefer worked with Freddie Prinze Jr. more than 5 years ago, and this is the first he's heard of Freddie's grievances. Kiefer enjoyed working with Freddie and wishes him the best." As a result, Sutherland looked great and Prince looked like a jealous whiner. I actually have a personal story about Kiefer Sutherland, like not personal to me, but listen, okay. So Designated Survivor used to film in Toronto, and I had a boyfriend who was a grip on set. Apparently when Kiefer Sutherland walked onto set, everyone had to stop talking. Kiefer did not want anyone speaking around him because that supposedly like broke his concentration. That being said, Kiefer was nice to the crew when the cameras weren't rolling. At number 3, we have Shonda Rhimes and Katherine Heigl. Now this one is a little different because Shonda Rhimes wasn't a co-star, but the actual creator of the show, which in my opinion is like a way worse choice for a feud. Like you don't wanna fuck with the creators or the writers or the directors. Like they're the reason why you're there, okay? Heigl hasn't headlined many major films or television shows since her departure from Grey's Anatomy, and many suspect that it's due to falling out with Grey's creator, Shonda Rhimes. When Heigl earned an Emmy nomination for her role as Izzy Stevens in 2008, the actress actually opted out because she wasn't given enough quality material to even be considered for an Emmy. She said in a statement, "I did not want to potentially take away an opportunity from an actress who was given such materials." Rhimes kept it professional, but the damage, Even when Heigl publicly expressed a desire to revisit her role on the showrunner coolly declined. In a 2014 interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Rhimes threw some serious shade. She said in an interview about her show Scandal, I quote, "There are no Heigls in this situation. I don't put up with BS or nasty people. I don't have time for it." In 2015, creator Shonda Rhimes confessed to killing off characters on her show because she didn't like them, and Heigl actually wasn't the only one that had an ugly ending. Several of the other actors also got killed off, so take that information what you will. At number 2 on this list we have Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, and honestly this one hurts a little. Sorry Gossip Girl fans, your favorite Upper East Siders aren't really as close as they seem on the show. Lively and Meester reportedly had a strained relationship behind the scenes, which sources attributed to long working days on set. One rumor is that the friendship ended when Lively didn't congratulate Meester on her engagement to Adam Brody, but we have a feeling that things weren't great long before that. One Gossip Girl source spelled out the actress's issues with each other plainly. They said, "Leighton thinks Blaine is an egomaniac who views her time on the TV set as slumming, and Blake feels stifled. She's just ignoring her co-star because she knows bigger things are in store." In response to the drama, Lively's publicist didn't even really try to spin the rumors. They said Blake and Leighton have never been best friends and never professed to be. The statement clarified Blake goes to work, does her job, and goes home. And the moment you have all been waiting for, no surprise here, at number 1 on this list we have Sarah Jessica Parker and Kim Cattrall. Both actors are best friends on Sex and the City, but they are far from being friends in real life. According to Cattrall, Parker never really liked her and she doesn't know why. She revealed that she found Parker's behavior toxic as she stalled production with her diva acts. Rumors also claim that Cattrall became upset when she learned that Parker earned more than her co-stars. The bad relationship between both actors delayed production when the Sex and the City movie was being filmed. Parker offered Cattrall sympathy for the loss of Cattrall's brother, and she replied harshly. Cattrall posted on Instagram, "I don't need your love or support at this tragic time." She claimed the only reason why Sarah Jessica Parker gave her condolences was for attention and to amplify her nice girl persona further. Years later, talk of a third Sex and the City movie being in the works were shut down when rumors about Cattrall being a diva started circulating, which is interesting because first it was Sarah Jessica Parker being a diva. Hollywood gossip insinuated that the film wouldn't happen because she was holding up negotiations with her demands. Cattrall took personal offense to the rumors and fired back by throwing some shade in Sarah Jessica Parker's way. She said, I quote, "This is where I take to task the people from Sex and the City, and specifically Sarah Jessica Parker. I really think that she could have been nicer. I don't know what her issue is. I never have." Sassy! Which is just too bad because like it's one of the best shows of all time. Like especially for women, Sex and the City was just goals. It sucks to find out that they weren't as good friends as they appear to be on the show. But anyways, I digress. At number 10 on our list, we have Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj. Is it really a surprise that these two larger-than-life queens have had a hard time sharing the spotlight? Apparently their feud began when they were both judges on American Idol at the same time. According to US Weekly, Mariah said that she hated it, and it was like going to work every day in hell with Satan. Though Mariah Carey didn't specifically name Nicki Minaj, it was evident on the show that season that these two were not fans of one another. Leaked videos showed them engaged in heated arguments, like one video where Nicki can be seen calling Mariah her highness. I mean, that's kind of accurate, but anyway. They got into several debates during the auditions and took shots at each other on Twitter. That year in May, Nicki Minaj called Mariah Carey bitter and insecure in the following tweet: "What you should be doing with your messy is asking why a woman so successful at her age is still so insecure and bitter." Next up at number 9, we have Chelsea Handler and Angelina Jolie. Chelsea Handler is good buddies with Jennifer Aniston, so that might make her a bit biased when it comes to Angelina. Chelsea has mocked Angelina on so many occasions, and she said some pretty nasty things about her in interviews. Just to name a few times, during an appearance on Watch What Happens, Chelsea Handler said Angelina, quote, "seems like a demon." In another quote, when she appeared on the More magazine cover, Chelsea said that she just doesn't trust Angelina. And in an interview with Katie Couric in 2010, Handler called Angelina a homewrecker. Angelina Jolie actually never publicly responded, but according to Handler, Angelina confronted her and ended up calling her an effing B-word. At number 8, we have will.i.am and Perez Hilton. Who remembers the time when this black-eyed pea gave Perez Hilton a black eye? See what I did there? Sorry. Perez made headlines in 2009 when he famously tweeted, "I was assaulted by will.i.am of the Black Eyed Peas and his security guards. Please, I need to file a police report." He asked his fans to call the police for him via Twitter. Fans did end up calling the police, the Toronto police showed up, and Perez continued to share details of the encounter on social media. will.i.am responded to Perez Hilton's allegations in a video where he says Perez disrespected Fergie and called him a slur in front of a bunch of fans when he asked Perez not to be so rude to them. Will claimed that he walked away and a fan attacked Hilton on his behalf. Perez responded in a video of his own, alleging that will.i.am was a liar, adding that his manager punched him a couple of times. The Black Eyed Peas manager did end up in court later that year for assault, but something tells me that these two are going to avoid each other at all costs. At number 7, we have Justin Bieber and Patrick Carney. If you don't know who Patrick Carney is, he is the drummer for the band The Black Keys. And if you don't know who Justin Bieber is, congratulations! I'm sorry. I really don't. I have no opinion about Justin Bieber. Patrick Carney openly hates Justin Bieber though. The feud goes back to when a TMZ reporter asked Patrick if Justin Bieber should have felt snubbed for not scoring a Grammy. Patrick responds, "Grammys are for music, not for the money. And he's making a lot of money. He should be happy." The following day, Justin Bieber tweeted out that the Black Keys drummer should be slapped around. The Beliebers had a field day, with many of them sending Carney death threats. Later in an issue of Rolling Stone, Carney said, "Justin Bieber, like an effing irresponsible asshole, sicked 40 million Twitter followers on me because I paid him a compliment he didn't understand." Adding, "I'm saying that he should be grateful that he has an effing career in music, and he shouldn't be effing telling his followers to slap me, and then also be doing anti-bullying BS. It's so irresponsible." Carney later added in that interview that Justin Bieber is a quote, moron. At number 6 on our list, we have Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay and Paris don't have the best track record. They were feuding back in the early 2000s, but the feud was reignited back in 2013 after a nightclub blogger, Ray Lemoyne, punched Paris Hilton's little brother Baron, who posted pictures of his injuries to social media. According to sources who spoke to the Post, Lindsay Lohan had told Lemoyne to beat up Baron after Lindsay heard him talking crap about Lindsay to Lindsay's boyfriend behind her back. Baron had told police that Lindsay shouted while he was being punched, "You talk about me to my boyfriend, this is what you get." Lindsay later claimed that she saw nothing and denied involvement, but she was also avoiding speaking to police about the matter. Paris Hilton commented at the time on her brother's Instagram account, "They both will pay for what they did. No one F's with my family and gets away with it." At number 5, we have Julia Roberts and Nick Nolte. You might remember that these two starred in the 90s film I Love Trouble. Then again, you might not, because the on-screen chemistry between these two was just not there. It had bad reviews, and that's because things weren't going great between them when the cameras weren't rolling. According to a 1994 story in the LA Times, these two got on each other's nerves a lot. People involved in the production said that they didn't get along, tempers flared early on, and Julia reportedly had temper tantrums on set. Nick Nolte hated Julia Roberts so much, he would purposefully do things to piss her off. Apparently these two actors played more to stand-ins than each other. If you don't know what a stand-in is, it's when the director pulls in someone who looks like an actor from the back and they place them in the scene instead of the actor. It's a way to save money. A lot of actors charge by the hour, but it's also useful when co-stars can't stand the sight of each other and it affects the scene. People who reviewed the film said the hostility between these two actors showed up on screen, which isn't ideal for a romantic comedy. At number 4, we have Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Unfortunately, these two rap queens just don't get along. Now, I personally feel like the beef between them might be a little bit overblown, like for press kind of thing. Everyone loves drama, and everyone loves drama between two queens in their own right, because they couldn't possibly feel like there was room enough for both of them to thrive in the music scene simultaneously, right? These two used to collaborate. They were on Migos' track Motorsport together, but from liking negative comments about each other to throwing shade in Instagram stories to writing lyrics that put each other down, Cardi B and Nicki Minaj definitely aren't besties. They even had a physical altercation at the September 2018 New York Fashion Week, where Cardi approached Nicki to confront her about quote lies she was spreading, before being elbowed by a security guard, and then she threw her shoe at Nicki. Apart from a few shade throws here and there, the feud has quieted down for now, but it's safe to say that we likely won't be getting another Nicki-Cardi collab for the foreseeable future. At number 3, we have Jake Paul and Zayn Malik. Who could forget the time when Jake Paul and Zayn Malik had a public Twitter fight and Gigi Hadid stepped in to stomp on Jake Paul in defense of her man? I remember that. Apparently the feud started while they were staying at the same hotel in Vegas. They had rooms close to each other. After a fight, not their fight, but like, you know, those fights that you watch. Jake was going back to his room where he saw Zayn and his friends getting off an elevator. Jake asked if they were partying, Jake wished Zayn a good night, and Zayn said, "I don't give an F if you have a good night." Jake was taken aback but went to his room, and then they later ran into each other again. Jake reportedly tried to squash the beef, but Zayn challenged Jake, and then they started tweeting at each other. Jake tweeted, "Almost had to clap up Zayn from One Direction because he is a little guy and has an attitude and basically told me to F off for no reason when I was being nice to him. Zayn, I know you're reading this, stop being angry because you came home alone to your big hotel room." That's when Gigi Hadid chimed in with, "LOL, cause he doesn't care to hang out with you and your embarrassing crew of YouTube groupies. Home alone with his best friends like a respectful king cause he has me, sweetie. Unbothered by your irrelevant, ugly go to bed." Yo, she ended him. Queen Gigi has spoken! No one really knows why Zayn and Jake got into a fight in the first place, but I'm gonna go out on a limb to say they just really don't like each other. Well, at least now they don't like each other. Alright, coming in on number 2 on our list, we have Joan Crawford and Bette Davis. Taking things back a few decades, Joan Crawford and Bette Davis were two Hollywood heavyweights, icons of their time, who starred together in the classic film Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, which was nominated for 5 Academy Awards. But this feud is one of the most well-known feuds ever to take place in the world of celebrity. The bitter rivalry between them was even immortalized in the film Feud. They became rivals when Crawford moved to Warner Brothers Studios in 1943, which meant that they were picking from the same roles. Joan Crawford divorced Douglas Fairbanks Jr., her first husband, then remarried, a couple of years later. The press surrounding Crawford eclipsed the promotional campaigns for Davis. It seemed that this feud might have been rooted in jealousy. Betty was jealous of Crawford's affair with Clark Gable, and also Crawford dated Franchot Tone, who was Davis's leading man in the film Dangerous. Davis had fallen in love with Tone, but he ended up marrying Joan Crawford. Davis, who was younger than Crawford, ended up becoming a bigger star than her, but they would often about each other and spread rumors about each other. Then came Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, when the feud reached its peak. They would call the director to complain about each other every single night. Then Bette Davis was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress, while Crawford was snubbed. The next year, when Bette Davis was the favorite to win, but she didn't, Crawford made it so that she would be the one collecting the Oscar on behalf of several of the other nominated actresses. She reportedly brushed past Bette Davis and said, "Excuse me, I have an Oscar to collect." I love that. I love that so much. It's Joan Crawford though, like I can't hate her. Alright, I would have made that number 1, but honestly not a lot of you even really know who those people are. I ended up going with somebody else. At number 1 on our list, we have Taylor Swift and Kanye West. Are we really surprised? The hatred between Taylor Swift and Kanye West goes back to when Kanye did quite possibly the rudest thing anyone has ever done. And he interrupted Taylor's acceptance speech for Album of the Year to say that Beyonce deserved it instead. I mean, you can definitely feel that way, and he might be right, but that doesn't mean he should take away her moment and, like, you know, you only have like a few seconds on that stage. Then of course the feud went on to when Kanye said he made Taylor Swift famous, or rather, that famous on his track Famous, lyrics he reportedly asked her permission for. When Taylor denied giving her permission, Kim Kardashian released a doctored video that appeared to show Taylor agreeing to the lyrics. That's when Kim and Kanye's fans mass trolled Taylor Swift, calling her a snake, flooding her pictures with snake emojis. She ended up taking a long break from social media, and it wasn't until recently that the real video of the conversation between Taylor and Kanye surfaced, and it turns out that Taylor was right all along.